Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Terry Family Adventures. Today, my mouth is on fire. You could say that it's flaming hot. And we're going to address a viewer's comment.
Terry Family Adventures.
And John Smith writes, I have a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee TrailHawk with the 5.7 Hemi. Don't really need too many upgrades, if any at all, to it. Well, John, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you. While the TrailHawk is an amazing machine, I personally don't think they're all that perfect. I think they have just as many flaws as any other version of the Grand Cherokee, as long as it has the 4-low and the brake lock differential. The ELSD in those, it doesn't save a whole lot. With my brake lock differential, the tire has to spin 2 times before it clicks in, and on your ELSD, it only has to spin once before it clicks in. Also, on those TrailHawks, they have the airbag suspension. I specifically did not buy one with the airbag suspension because there's 2 reasons. Number one, every person I've ever talked to that has owned the airbag suspension in these Jeeps says that once you pump it all the way up to maximum ride height, they ride like a brick. It is very uncomfortable, and they'll do it for a certain obstacle, and the second they get over that obstacle, they put it back down to off-road 1. The other part about that is that's as high as you can go with that suspension. You're always going to have that 10.7 or 11 inches of ground clearance. I can't remember exactly what it is, but when I'm done lifting mine, I'm going to have 13. You've got the problem, like there's a lot of people, you can buy air links, and what they do is they trick the system into thinking the off-road 1 or off-road 2 is it sitting at normal height. But again, now you're riding around on a brick all day, although yes, you've lifted your Jeep, but it's not anything that you couldn't do with just pushing the button while you're off-road. Like if you want that stance all the time, I get it, but you've got that limitation of that air ride suspension is a huge setback. My particular Grand Cherokee, I have the real tow hooks on there. The only thing that I don't have is it's not trail rated, and the biggest part of that is all of the goodies for being trail rated -1 are on my Grand Cherokee, and the one that's not on there is it doesn't have the water fording depth that yours has. They put special electrical connectors that are extra waterproof. They seal up some of the body lines and everything like that. But I live in Utah. It's a desert out here. I literally have yet to run a trail that like went across a stream or anything like that. And even then, I have 18 inches of ground clearance or of water fording depth right now. But by the time I'm done with it, I will have 3.5 more inches than that. Um, you're kind of limited by your tire size, where I can put a lot bigger tire on mine versus the TrailHawk because of that air ride suspension. I'll be able to lift mine up more, then I'll be able to put bigger tires on it. My initial goal with my Grand Cherokee is 35-inch tires. I think on the TrailHawk, 33s and a little bit of rubbing is the maximum you've got. And I'm going to be putting 35s on my Grand Cherokee. But Like I'm not saying that the TrailHawk is a terrible machine. It's great. It just doesn't fit into what I plan on building mine into. Like, I'm really glad that you love yours. Lots of people have them. I got friends that have them. They say, other than the brick at the maximum ride height, they love everything about them. Um, the skid plates that they put on them, if you noticed in 2022 version of the Trailhawk, they went with a thicker skid plate because I think Jeep realized that the skid plate that they put on these ones, it's not quite thick enough. And so I bought one without skid plates. I'm making my own out of 1/4 inch steel. And so by the time I'm done, I'll be able to hook a winch line up and just drag the entire bottom of my Jeep across anything and know that I'm never going to damage anything. And so for you with your Trailhawk, the upgrades that I suggest is with the Hemi, I do believe that we'll have the HD brakes, and so an 18-inch rim is the smallest you can do. I got 17s because I just have the little brakes, but um, you can put a 32-inch tire on there as long as you get those the air links that trick your suspension into being taller. Then you can put 32s or 33s on there. But I suggest you do the air links if you like the bigger tires. Um, I suggest that you put better skid plates across the bottom. There are a couple of companies out there that make them. I think Six Monkeys, from what I've read. If you're going to buy like a mass produced uh, skid plate, I hear that they have the best quality skid plates. So I suggest you go that direction. Um, After that, I mean, maybe some, I don't know if they have rock sliders on those TrailHawks from the factory, but get you some better rock sliders. But what really matters is that you get out there on the trails and you have a good time. I appreciate every comment that I get. I read them all, and I make videos like this to address some of the comments. Thank you for watching.